so grateful to be here with
Reverend Rebecca.
Reverend Rebecca. For those of that maybe the first time they're watching this, because you kind of kicked off this, I'm going to call it this new series, new season. Ooh, it's kind of cool to call it a season, right? This new season of Spirituality Uncorked. Kind of give the viewers that are watching, hey, maybe they stumbled across this, maybe they watched it through CSL Palm Desert, because that's where it is, a CSL Palm Desert on the YouTube channel. What exactly your thoughts about this program is and why people should watch it?
Well, you know, this program is support. It's the middle of the week, it's the everyday, it's the middle of the night support you need. Sunday morning we're here and you're covered, but it's those other days when you need somebody to come in and give you that little bit of uplift, that little bit of guidance. So that's what this program is about, because it's available to you 24 hours a day. And for me, my goal in this program is to help you learn how to do spiritual mind treatment simply and easily, without all the language and the lingo, but to make it real for you, to use these gifts to uplift your life to the best it can be. And today we're going to talk about abundance through financial gain, and we're going to talk about how to bring that abundance through spiritual mind treatment into your life.
Now, Reverend Rebecca, before we jump forward, give us a little idea, because I think the first program we did together was full of fire and brimstone in a positive way about the whole idea of a affirmative prayer. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people out there are looking and say, how do I pray? Because begging just doesn't work and pleading just doesn't work. There was a science behind it. Give us an idea, just kind of a 30,000 foot overview of, hey, so they'll go back and watch this. What did you talk about during that one before we jump into today?
I talked about how making spiritual mind treatment your own, how to really make it easy for you. You know, our founder, Ernest Holmes, taught us that you need to change your thinking to change your life. And we talked about that in the very first program. So today, we're going to carry that through. We're going to change your finances by changing your thinking, because financial prosperity starts in the mind.
You know, first of all, I'm excited about today because, hey, there's statistics that say 87% of the people in America, not around the world, but in America, are one paycheck away from financial ruin. I mean, when I say that, that's heavy on my heart. 87% of the people. So that's who needs to listen to this. And yet, so many people, Reverend Rebecca, they say, well, you know, I'll feel better when. I'll feel better when. And this whole idea of a financial mind treatment. Do us a favor first, for people haven't heard about that. First they might think, ooh, nobody's going to control my mind. Tell us what a spiritual mind treatment is.
Okay, it's affirmative prayer. It's the tool we use to change our thinking. And so let me make it really easy for you. You know, when I was becoming a Center for Spiritual Living minister, in one of my classes, one of my professors said to us, the most simple example I have ever come across. We all know how to get on our computer and to make a document. We type up that document and we print it out. And when we print it out, we look at it and we say, oh, there's a mistake in here. This isn't what I meant to say. Wonder how it came out like that. Well, it came out like that because that's what you were thinking. So you take that document and you cross off the mistake and you hand it to whoever. Well, it doesn't change the document. We have to go back in to that computer and change the document. And what we're doing is we're changing our thinking just like we're changing that document. So we're not always getting the same thing over and over again. And the way we do that is by doing spiritual mind treatment. And how that starts is we make it our own. We start with something that we know without a doubt to be the truth. For me, I know that there is one power for good in the universe, and that power is God. Now you can call it anything you want. You can call it source, you can call it anything you're comfortable with. And if you don't have one, feel free to use mine and make it your own. And the next thing I ask you to do is to go inside and make yourself one with God. And by that I mean close your eyes and listen to the silence and just feel. And from that place of feeling, I want you to tell the universe, just simply say in the form of an affirmation, financial abundance is mine. It is my birthright. It is here now. I claim it. It spreads into all areas of my finances, my mortgage, my car loan, my credit cards. I am financially abundant. I say yes now to my birthright. And in that moment, you will feel the shift and the change. And just sit with it. And know that you have now declared to the universe, this is what I want, and this is mine. And from that point, you're going to feel so thankful. Thankful that you have this knowledge, that you have this new knowing, and that you know what? You don't have to wait until when. It's here, right now. You've had it all along, and you just claimed it. Now you just sit back in gratitude and allow it to flow to you, through you, as you, into all areas of your finances. Abundance flows in many ways. And know it. It's yours. If you don't claim it, no one else gets to claim it. It came with you. And from that moment, I surrender and I release all of that to the divine. I simply say, and so it is. And it is.
Wow, that felt powerful. I felt like it just took me through it. You know, obviously you did. It was the 5 steps, step by step. Again, for somebody who hasn't done that, I'm going to keep this, again, I'm from West Texas. I'm going to keep this real simple, Reverend Rebecca. It makes me feel like, hey, when I'm hungry, I go to a restaurant.
Yes.
And they hand me what? A menu, right?
Yes.
And I choose on that menu what I want.
Yes.
And you know what's really cool is, as you were saying that, you didn't say what you didn't want.
No, it's only what you want, Jeff.
Yeah, just so like...
You don't say, I hate a peanut butter sandwich, but I think I'm ordering one.
Exactly. So like when I look on that menu, it doesn't say, Jeff, you don't like this. Jeff, no, it's right there. And so then I think of, and again, simple, I'm uncorking this. It's like when the waiter or waitress comes to me, that's like the universe saying, what do you want?
Yes.
And I put that order in.
Yes.
And then what happens is I know it's being delivered, right?
You don't think about it. You don't say, hey,
I don't go back in the kitchen.
the right thing.
Yeah, I don't go back in the kitchen and start overseeing it. I just what? I know it's coming. And I just keep living, right?
Hey, and you know you're going to like it. Because
Yeah.
it's what you chose.
It's what I ordered.
It's what you ordered.
I love that. I love it.
And you've surrendered it when you gave it to the waitress.
Yeah. So let's break this down just a little bit more. So you started out and you said what? The first step.
The first step is recognition. I'm recognizing that there is one power in the universe.
Okay.
I call that power God. So I'm recognizing it. I think we can all recognize. And then after that, I become one with it. I unify.
Well, let's stay with that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to slow you down here a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so I recognize. I think, to me, it sounds like somebody says, well, I don't have to be of that religion. I don't have to be. It's like, I could say that tree stump is that one power.
Yes.
Right? Because, as we know, everything, we have to say, everything was created by one power.
Exactly.
Right? So it's okay to say, you know, whatever it is, it's a Buddha, it's this, it's whatever, it's okay, right?
Absolutely.
You're just connecting with that
we
source.
We honor all religions, but
Okay.
what we're connecting to is one power.
Perfect.
And that's why I say it as there is one power for good in the universe.
I love it. Okay, so now step 2, and be prepared, I'm probably going to interrupt you. Step 2 is?
Unifying to that power. Knowing that in my heart is that power, and that we are one. That's part of my birthright. That's why I'm here. I'm here to express that power on earth right here today.
Yeah. Now, something you said along this line of like, in me as me. Sometimes that might be hard for people to kind of embrace, because it's always like, you know, there's somebody up in heaven They have a scroll. They've got your name. Did you do good or bad? It's never, wait a minute, we are one.
There's nobody
That's
up
really wild. Okay, so take us through that a little bit.
There's nobody up in heaven, but there is somebody in your heart. You are one with the divine. That's who breathes your air for you. We all breathe the same air because we're all part of the divine. And that piece of divinity comes out in you over and over every day as you, in whatever you're doing, wherever you are, with whoever you're with. So you never have to doubt. By simply breathing, you're divine.
Wow, that's a powerful feeling. That's like, it almost like, it's like a, excuse my expression, but it's like a warm bath that never cools down.
Right.
It's just so comforting to know
Right.
that. Now the next one is step 3.
Yes?
And what happens in step 3 that is so unique?
Well, you realize what you want. And what's really unique about realizing what you want is now you're going to declare it to the universe. You're going to order whatever it is off that menu that you really want because now you've decided.
You know, in that moment, and this is so true, for so many people is, and I'll say we, for me too, is we do not live to our potential. You know, I found this morning as I was writing my journal, I almost found the resistance in the pen to actually write down something that was like I wanted but I couldn't see myself doing it. But in this, you're saying, hey, if I decide to order that big piece of chocolate cake, it's not going to make me fat. In other words, that's life. You know, if we're saying this is what I want, it's good for us because we're not wishing out the bad. How do we get to that point in that piece where you're writing out what you want, you're ordering your menu, you're telling the universe what you want, that we say, wait a second, I don't just want a roof over my head. I don't want to just get by. I don't want to just make enough money to pay my bills because that's the stress I don't want. But how do we reframe that into the point we're saying, it's okay to be abundant. It's okay to have opulence. It's okay to have optimum health. How do we do that?
We rely on our God qualities. There's never a limit with God, okay? You came here as an expression of the divine, and everything that God has is yours. So there is no limitation. But the key that has been limiting you all this time is your belief that you can have it. Our teachings are everyone in their life has everything they need to the limit of their belief. And when you say, I only want to pay my rent, guess what? You can only pay your rent. What we have to understand is there comes with God great, great expansion. And as we become closer to God, as we do our spiritual practices, we sit in meditation and we want, and we do our prayer work, we expand. And good and more good starts flowing into all areas of our life, including our finances. And all we have to do is receive and allow and step out of the way. And when we change our thinking, we can do that.
I've noticed something for myself, journaling for me. It feels like I'm taking control of the outcome of my life because I'm writing the script. And in essence, that's exactly what an affirmative prayer is it not? I mean, you're now in control of writing your script versus waking up in the day and saying, well, which way is the wind blowing? I'm just a leaf and I'm going to be part of that. Is that fair to say? I mean, it's like, hey, I put a rudder in the ground, I control the sail because I wrote it down.
Absolutely. And you know that we have all this support. The universe is here to support us. But if we don't tell the universe what we want, clearly, plainly, declare it, how can the universe support us? So when we decide, okay, I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment, I'm going to decide what I want, and I'm going to declare it, then the universe knows what to bring us, and it knows definitely. We're not throwing in all that stuff we don't want. We're only stating what we do want. And when we do that, we can then surrender that to the universe. I mean, there are lots and lots of books and stories and self-help about how the law of attraction brings it to you. Well, that's the law of the universe. There's no arguing with the law of the universe, but we have to tell the universe, hey, I want it. And we want it, we have to believe it.
Well, I'm going to take us back to that, and then we're going to go to the next step.
Okay.
It reminds me of, again, I'm just envisioning, to keep it real simple here, is I've walked into a restaurant, I've sat down, I've now sat in the booth, and the waitress keeps coming by, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure what I want. I'm not sure what I want.
Right.
Well, will she ever be able to deliver anything to me?
No.
Besides maybe the water with lemon in it. I can make a decision, that's what I want. And yet then, I've seen this happen where now I get mad at that source because they're not delivering to me, and yet I have not even placed my order.
Right.
So once I place the order, what happens next, and why is this so vitally important?
We give thanks. We give decided that we've declared that we can feel in our heart. And feeling is really important. That's why I ask you to become one, to get quiet and to become one with God so that you can feel as you declare what you want. Because the feeling piece is a really important piece. Ernest Holmes, our great founder, used to say, treat and move your feet. And for me, the move your feet is feeling it and then carrying it out into my life, knowing that I have done this work.
Reverend Rebecca, you are a doer. Yeah. There's somebody who they do move their feet and get things done. So I want to applaud you for that. But then the last step, and this is that part again. If I'm sitting in the restaurant and I give my order, I have to do what?
You have to surrender.
Yeah.
You have to release it. You have to say, okay, that's really what I want. Take it and go. And you have to know in your heart, it's coming. It's coming because it's inside you. You've declared it. You are one with it. It's coming to you. And we know without a doubt, they bring our food.
I love it. And in that process, there are times when I'm in that restaurant and they bring something to me and it's not right. And think about your life. Do we settle for it? Or do we say, wait a second, that wasn't what I wanted. Please, I asked for the coleslaw, not the French fries.
Well, we make a decision when she brings you the wrong thing, don't you?
Right.
Am I going to accept this? Am I going to allow this? Or am I going to say, no, this is not what I ordered? Yeah. And it's no different in life. We decide whether or not it was good enough or not. And when we say, oh, well, I'll take it anyway, that's exactly what we've just said to the universe. And we don't need to settle.
Yeah, I love that. Reverend Rebecca, this has been fantastic. You're awesome. I really appreciate that. Because so many times, and I've heard about affirmative prayers, it is just glossed over. Well, there's these 5 steps. But again, I'm the uncorked piece. I get to ask questions like, hey, somebody sat in the audience and say, well, wait a minute, what does exactly that mean? And you explained it so succinctly that if you're not sure, go back and watch it again and share this with other people. If you're not getting what you want in life, look at your menu. Have you even placed an order? And are you trying to do what Reverend Rebecca said? Don't tell us what you don't want, because if I stood there, again, the waitress came up and I said, well, I don't want a cream cheese and I don't want a this, and I don't want, she says, well, what would be she'd say?
What do you want?
Yeah.
I can get you what you want if you just tell me what it is.
Yeah. So I challenge you. Tell the universe what you want. And that's a little different too, because as we started out, I said, a lot of people say, if you'll do this, we kind of get into that, well, okay, if you'll give me this, I promise I'll come to church 7 days a week, and you know what, I'll stop eating donuts and Cheerios. Well, you know what, we don't have to do that, do we?
Jeff, that's the human vibration.
We
don't work in the human vibration.
Oh, I love it.
We work from the divine.
I love it.
And the divine doesn't beg. The divine has it.
Yeah.
So when we do spiritual mind treatment, we're working from high consciousness. We are one with God, and we are declaring to the universe, this is what I want. And then we're surrendering it, knowing it's coming to us.
I love it. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Do us a favor. Down at the bottom, there's a place where you can like it and also subscribe. I ask you to do that, and there's a little bell down there. If you'll hit that bell, what will happen is every time we put one of these out, once a week on Wednesdays, you'll be notified, so you'll be one of the first to listen to it and get this divine guidance that these ladies and gentlemen are sharing with us, and I really appreciate that. Also, we ask you to share this. If you know someone who said, God, you know what, they're struggling in their life, this may be the menu they needed to see, that they can say, wait a second, I can change my order. I am not in cement. Life doesn't have to. I mean, you could share that. Vicki could share, Lori, of things that said, hey, when I was at that crossroads, I decided to do something different, and my life changed immediately when I made that decision.
Absolutely.
And so we want to thank you all for joining us here on Spirituality Uncorked. My name is Jeff Harrison, along with
Reverend Rebecca.
Reverend Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Thank
This
you,
has been
Jeff.
great. See you again next time.